most efficient scavengers on the planet, a crucial link in the food chain. A colony of vultures can reduce a large animal the size of an ox to bone in less than half an hour. In the 1980s, India had the highest density of vultures in the world. Thousands of vultures could be seen gliding majestically across our skies. The reason behind the high density of vultures is the high livestock population in India. India has the highest concentration of cattle in the world. And being a primarily non-beef eating country, dead cattle are dumped in carcass grounds. Here, hide collectors remove the skins. These carcass dumping grounds are the major foraging sites for the vultures. They flock here in hundreds and thousands to clear the remains. The vulture population help to dispose of the carcasses and keep in check disease and contamination by consuming 40 to 50 million carcasses every year. Today, barely a few thousand of these majestic birds survive. In just over a decade, over 99% of vultures in the Indian subcontinent have disappeared. The population has crashed to levels so low that it may never fully recover. The world's most efficient scavenger is today sliding into extinction. This has created a serious ecological imbalance. The evidence is visible all around. Rotten carrion lies unattended for months in towns and villages. The stench of the deteriorating carcasses is an ominous reminder to mankind of the loss of a critical link of the food chain right before our eyes. In the absence of scavenging vultures, the population of dogs, rats and crows are exploding. These dogs have been observed to become aggressive and ferocious. After feeding, they often come into villages, increasing the risk of rabies and other contamination. Experts first noticed a sudden and dramatic rise in vulture deaths in the early 90s. Worldwide ornithologists and scientists began investigations to probe the sudden and mysterious deaths. The Peregrine Fund, working with scientists in Pakistan, exposed the silent killer, an ordinary veterinary drug. Diclofenac is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug for both humans and animals and is primarily administered to the cattle for its effectiveness in relieving pain, inflammation and fever. But unknown to anyone at the time, this drug was silently killing our vultures. If an animal dies during or just after treatment by diclofenac injection and the vulture scavenges on the carcass, the diclofenac enters the bird's system. The bird's body is unable to process the chemical and excrete uric acid from the body. So uric acid crystals accumulate in the visceral organs. This causes visceral gout, leading to dehydration, kidney failure, and eventually the death of the vulture. Scientific studies show that even if less than 1% of the carcasses have diclofenac, it would be enough to result in the present catastrophic rate of decline in the vulture population. Only one meal is sufficient to kill the vulture. It dies an agonizing death in 30 days. The disappearance of the Asian vultures is the fastest decline experienced by any wild bird species in the world. More than 99% of all